Alright, we're going live.
Alright, guys, no hate speech. No remarks about the Jews this time, TSL.
Okay, we're good. Let me get the chat up, actually. That's probably a good idea. Then we can see all the people talk to us.
It's midday.
It's not even midday, it's just straight up evening.
Oh, in the US.
Oh, well, we don't care about them, not until we're back. I'm gonna tweet and we're live. That's only 2 people that have fallen down those stairs.
Only 2.
Only 2.
It's like
We still have time yet.
True. Fall up
What's the what time does the party start?
9, I believe.
8?
Oh, well, I sure shit don't want to get there. Well, I don't know, getting there early might be beneficial. I'm
Then
certainly not
maybe-
going to spend a tremendous amount of time there as much as I love Icelandic Metallica cover bands. Nice. This is the one in North Carolina. There is stone just everywhere. I like that. We could. How many of us could fit into that hot tub? You think?
About 8 probably. Here's the living room.
So if he says 8, I'm gonna say 12.
I really like the
Exposed beams and everything.
yeah,
like
it's
that.
got kind of a lofty vibe to it.
It's got a real California, or not California, like Colorado, Utah.
Yeah,
feel.
yeah, like the mountain lodge.
Yeah, I kind of grew up in Seattle, so it was like
Yeah.
that was the way to go.
You have like various pelts.
And what did you say the address of that place was?
Okay. We are okay, alright, we're here. What's up? What's up, everybody? Hello from Iceland. Jesus. Fuck. This is off to a good start.
Sums up.
It was one hell of a night last night.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It has not ended.
CEO wakes up for like the 4th time at 5 o'clock. God, I'm hungover. That's pretty much the sentiment around the room.
Yeah.
Like the first night that I was here was probably one of my best Eve experiences with players in person. The 3rd night matched that and exceeded that, so it's been a lot of fun.
There was so much dancing last night, and not like good, fully committed. Like, hey, you guys want to go out dancing? Like, hey, I just set my beer down. What should I do with my hands? Like, yeah, dancing. And then it was like, Raj showed up, and I did not know that there was a Scotsman alive that could drop it that low.
McD represented for you.
Dude, he is the queen of the dance floor as far as I'm concerned.
And I would like to add that with all the dancing, a couple of women did walk by.
But they did speed up.
The world party. When is the world party? It's later tonight, isn't it?
Party at the top of the world is later tonight at either 8 or 9, depending on who you ask. We'll probably get there at like 1 a.m.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a pretty wild night last night. As far as the Eve stuff goes, we actually I'm having a hard time remembering the round tables
what's
and
up,
stuff.
Darwin?
Didn't we start fairly late yesterday on Friday?
Yeah, I was there.
What did we do Friday?
That was like several years ago. This is
It's not that I'm blackout. It's just that we did so much last night.
This is where that like X-Files theme song comes on. And I'm like, sorry, Friday died 30 years ago.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. The schedule may help jog my memory. Let me look at this tome of knowledge.
Yeah, let's recreate the moment. Everyone, quick to the kitchen.
Oh, hey.
We had our
Now it's starting to come.
That's right. We had our round table.
We had a round table yesterday. It was nuts. Okay, so I'm trying to look for the ones that I went to. Let's see here.
Yes, Card, we did go to Carker and
Darwin's round.
Yeah, so let's start going through some of I guess the reveals from yesterday. So and oh my God, Worlds Collide. Okay, so for the main,
yes, I remember that all of a sudden.
It's seriously.
I completely forgot about being lifted onto the fucking stage with like so much.
We didn't get to see that.
What?
We're doing ETV, and then they brought us around.
Oh man!
When you were already up there.
Oh dude, it was something.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Gargant like came out of the floor, with
let's
the
just go
fans,
backwards. Let's go backwards in time. Like, do you want to go forward?
Yeah, I didn't get to see it either because I was on the fucking stage, you guys. That's why. I was This is the worst video where you like every time you do it. All right, yeah.
I ended up starting it.
That's fine.
Again. So we'll go over why we didn't see it, but
It's okay, baby.
we'll pass it around.
You smell like sulfur.
You're almost
I was
in that
wondering why it
camera
was hazy
strip.
in there.
Yeah, it was.
I just thought there was a lot of smokers.
At one point in the middle of the show, like the smell of marijuana got really strong, and I thought to myself, "Oh shit." Oh, Swift, thank God your butt cheek.
Sorry. Yeah.
Just don't lean your face down. That's the important part.
That's awesome.
That was pretty good. Nice
Okay.
job.
How do you pause it?
Just hit the home button.
There you go. All right, so yeah, the Worlds Collide tournament. That was pretty amazing. We had a whole bunch of us on. Dan Tessie, myself, and Bio were on Eve TV. All spur of the moment for us. Almost a spur of the moment for the commentary for Sir Squeebles here, and he nailed that very well. Okay, so I kind of want to just like start from the beginning of the day and go that way. I think it's probably going to be the best way to go about it. But as far as the roundtables and stuff, we had one as we were talking about. Hey Doom, how's it going, man? We had one ourselves. We had a streaming roundtable. We had like pretty much everyone here, all the streamers here in the YouHeard team. Were on there. The only kind of odd man out was Lastel from Matani.com stream. Both he and Scoobles were there for like the majority of the roundtable, and then they had to take off for the Worlds Collide, getting set up for that. It was a fantastic roundtable. Didn't really know what to expect. I figured it was either going to be like maybe a dozen people, like kind of us and our friends, and we'd just be drinking beers and shooting the shit, or I figured we may have just a couple people there and just utter silence. But it blew past that. We actually had a bit of good discussion. We had Manifest there, helped out a little bit. He actually sat down and answered quite a few questions about it. So nothing really new revealed for streamers, but we did record video for it. We have audio for it. I had a little bit of audio problems at the beginning. So fortunately, Laz does have a recorder that I will be getting. I'll be chopping up audio and trying to see if I can get that up onto Twitch TV and is on YouTube for people to review. As far as the roundtables and stuff, we had the initial reveal of stats and stuff for the new T3 destroyers that was put out there yesterday. So they were talking about that. So we're gonna missile T3 destroyer for Caldari. Pretty crazy, and I know there's a lot of conjecture about that. And we're not getting a fucking drone destroyer, which I think a lot of people are very happy about. So that was a thing. Let's see here. Anything else that anyone wants to contribute to beyond that stuff? Because we got in fairly late. I keep on having to reiterate it, but it's the truth.
We got in fairly late.
Go for it.
I think I stumbled into the bedroom at about 5:40, 5:50. There's a tweet. I took TSO Icelandic dancing. Although there wasn't much dancing involved, there was just laughing at the sort of the stupidity of that place and the fact.
This is after the fact. This is after the whole thing.
So the same place we go to get breakfast turns into like a jungle. Yeah.
He pointed out the table that people dance on. It does
actually,
not look like
guys, I feel like we should pause here. Let's just continue on with like the actual FanFest stuff. Then we'll get to the night after. That sound good?
That works.
Okay. Sorry for getting out.
Why did you ask for input, Sarge? You know I only.
Because I was asking about FanFest.
Oh.
All right, so okay, let's just jump from there. Let's go over to the Worlds Collide. So then we had the tournament between the Serenity guys versus the Virgil Collapse, the German Dream Team that has been dominating ATs and Neos. Fantastic series. I was super ecstatic about it. The way it started off, you couldn't hope for more, and it really could have gone either way. We had the first match, the Typhoon comp versus Ishtar's, smashing that. So the way that tournament worked is that the winners weren't allowed to run the comp again. Losers could run their comp again. But the fact that they pretty much took a win off the Ishtar comp, which is probably Verge's strongest comp, and then you had this kind of seesaw effect of, all right, I beat you, you beat me, but if the Chinese actually kept on winning, they'd be one up the entire time, so they could actually, if not just take it like a 3-1, but just take a really decisive victory. It could have gone either way. There's some really cool stuff going on there. So I'm super happy about that. This guy did an amazing job commentating and just being a great host for the event. It's really cool, really amazing last minute. It was a big part of my FanFest experience has just been these you heard guys and all the different personalities going on. It's been fantastic. But I was on the sidelines there. Like a couple of personalities were thrown on stage with CCP's Rise and Guard. I think I was the first one on there.
Crazy. That was as soon as we got
all spur of
done,
the moment.
Yeah, as soon as we got done from the broadcast to the actual studio on the stairs, someone, I don't remember who said it, says Rise wants you, and Mimic takes off running down the stairs.
Let's backtrack. So before Worlds Collide even happened, just last freaking minute, like right after we finished their stream roundtable, we got Dantesi and Biohazard and myself got pulled aside, and it's like Mimic wants you. Like, oh, okay. I just pulled my phone out. I had like 8 messages. Get over here. And Seek Argent.
That is a great Mimic impression. She is a grating voice and a terrible personality. Good work, Sarge. We're sorry, man.
That was actually my Biohazard impersonation, but yes. So we got pulled aside, and they were doing interviews. I was like, oh hey, I guess we're doing interviews. Cool. So they had us on Eve TV for a little bit. We talked a little bit about You Hurt, a little bit about streaming, a little bit about the Neo experience, a little bit about tournaments. It was a pretty cool little experience. But right after that, then someone mentions, hey, Rise wants you, and we got taken backstage for the Worlds Collide production. Rise pulls us aside, Guard pulls us aside, talks about, hey, we want some people to take up on the stage between matches. So it's like, let me get your names, and we'll see if we can get you up there. So they pulled myself from that little group. Then they got some other dudes. They had Chesser, which is kind of part of the Team Liquid community. We had him up there. It was really cool. It was really spur of the moment, but how it kind of wove together and it really worked. It was really cool. I was really happy for that tournament series. I mean, I'm really amazed by it. I know we had the new experience where we were streaming our perspectives in person. I felt it was very similar. I kind of hope we can see this more often in tournaments. I know it's like not physically possible, but really cool stuff from my perspective. CO, do you want to mention anything about the commentating or your perspective on that, or anyone else want to pitch in?
Yeah. So the first day that we got here and went to Harpa, which I guess was Thursday, right?
Yeah. That's one story. Yeah.
So we went to Harpa. Wait, what day is it? Saturday?
It's Saturday.
Okay, so we went to Harpa. We went to Harpa.
Keynote.
And there was
Keynote.
We went to the keynote address, and there were a few devs there, and obviously I had the privilege of being here for the Alliance tournament, so I knew some of the devs, and I was wanting to go up and just say hey, because obviously I'm not in Iceland every other week, and wanted to say hello again. This is us. So I saw a few people, but they were all busy. Like Fozzie was being swamped by PL guys, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, we're just going to kind of loiter, and if the crowd thins out, then we can go around and be like, hey, what's up? This is some of the other You Heard guys. How are you doing? And hopefully get our foot in the door, just so when we went out to the bar and we saw them, we could be like, hey! And as opposed to looking at us funny, they would, hey! Back. But it didn't really work, and we're just loitering at the top of the staircase, and then Gargant walks over, who you notice immediately. He's like, oh, I thought I recognized that voice. So I started talking to him, and he's like, all right, you ready for tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, a round table about streaming. And he's like, no, you're going to commentate on the tournament, I thought. I was like, oh. So we had talked about it on Skype like 2 months before, and I closed out of Skype because Luis Randolph spams things about Taylor Swift. So I'd kind of forgotten, and I mentioned to Sard, like, it was still in the back of my mind that I remember having talked about it, but I never got any message or information. And then on yesterday, Friday, after we did our roundtable, Laz and I were both in the streaming roundtable. We left probably 20 minutes till the start of the tournament.
Yeah.
We run into the back area, like we were going up the main stairs there in Harpa, and CCP Rise. The first time I've seen him since I got here, despite like bothering him, is running down the stairs like, I just got sent to find you guys. I'm so good at my job. So he rushes us back. I make a couple wry remarks about hoping the makeup lady is fast because wanted my eyelashes to look really thick. But we get back there and it's just complete fucking chaos. Like, I'm pretty sure they would have no problem admitting that it was complete and total fucking chaos. Guard was like in a cold sweat. Fozzie shows up and is like, I guess I'm going to be on the stage. And Rise is back there sitting on a sofa. At one point, there's all sorts of people back there, but they have dev shirts, and then there's me, Laz, and Bob Shaftos, who's one of the other commentators, showed up a few minutes later, who I had never met him, so he said his name was Bob, and I was like,
hey, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
yeah. What's up, Bob? And then later they're like, and Bob Shaftos. And I was like, oh, that Bob, irrelevant Bob. So we're all standing back there. There's people fucking running everywhere. They're like, who are you all? We're the commentators. Then there's just like a random camel guy standing like back by where the water is. And Rise is like, who are you? And why are you here? And he's like, I don't know. And Rise is like, you should probably not be here. Why don't you go out where like you should be? And he's like, yeah. Okay. And then he walks out. So that was kind of fun, and that was sort of set the tone for the whole thing. And then we're standing there, and they're like, all right, you all need mics. You all need mics. And then we're gonna go to the elevator. And I was like, okay, the elevator to the studio, because I thought we were gonna do like the Alliance tournament where there's a casting booth, and then there's the main event. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, let's go down the elevator. And we walked down this like alarmingly narrow staircase down toward under the stage. And then I look over and I'm like, that is not the type of elevator. That's like a freight elevator. And they're like, yeah, the only time it's ever been used is to lift a piano onto the stage. And I'm like, I weigh less than a piano, so hypothetically this should work. And I'm like, okay, go ahead and sit down. And I was like, okay, am I sitting for the next 20 minutes while we wait for this thing to start up? And like, well, I'll sit down. We got to balance your audio and everything. I sit down. Laz sits down. Guard stands behind us, and all of a sudden, like, it just fills with fucking smoke. Like something had gone off that shouldn't. And you're like, it's one of those things where when you're breathing, you feel like you're drinking because there was so much smoke in there. And then it starts to lift up, and I was just like, oh my God. The smoke was so thick, though, that you couldn't tell, like, where you were. Like, you literally could not see your hand this far in front of your face.
Were your eyes bloodshot?
No. I mean, it's pretty inoffensive stuff.
Oh,
it's
okay.
made so that you can do that. It has, like, a mildly waxy flavor, in case you're wondering. I think, clearly, they're using budget smoke liquid. No, but like you can't see anything. So I thought we were already on the stage waiting for the smoke to clear. Then the smoke sort of thins out, and we've gone like this far up off the ground. And I was like, oh, well, that's awkward. So when they did it for the live production, they like really cranked it. They gave us a double dose, and that's why it was everywhere.
Oh, that was a practice run?
Yeah, that was a practice run. Yeah, because there was nobody in there.
Oh, okay.
And then the smoke clears, and there's that one fucking camel guy that was accidentally backstage. He was sitting there like, what's up? What's up, dude? And then on the way up, because I could see Gargant's shadow once it started, like, the smoke started clearing, doing his, like, whole thing. I was like, we should completely offset that raw masculinity by just being like, hey. So I told Laz, and Laz was like, done. And then Bob shows up, and they're like, okay, Bob, let's get you a mic. Bob didn't know about the elevator, by the way. He wasn't there for the dry run. So they get him mic'd up, and Fozzie is looking slightly like he's always just happy to be there. It seems like Fozzie, like, yeah, tournaments. But he's like, I think I know what's happening now. And I'm like, I know, you don't seem very confident in that, but okay. So I'm asking questions. They're giving us the names of the players, which didn't match the Chinese players, that is, which didn't match the ones in the video. Blah blah blah. All the little things, and like people were sprinting until the last minute, and then finally they're like, "All right, we're ready to go. Let's get downstairs." So we sat back down at the table, and I was really hoping that they had the mics figured out where they wouldn't preemptively activate them, because some of the things I was saying while on the elevator ready to go up would not have been suited to the Harpo, like 1,200, however many people are here. Several times I was worried about that, actually. So anyways, then you can hear all these people talking, like the murmurs before a show, and I was like, oh, fuck, I am not ready for this at all. This is like a college public speaking course, and I sucked at those. But yeah, then they fired up, and, and I was like, okay, this is happening yet again. When the smoke starts thinning out, the floor is like here on my head, and I'm like, God, I regret having posed like this for the 5 minutes on the way up that we just had. My face was like cramping. If they have like a high resolution, you could see my cheek just like, ah. Yeah, and then we get up on the stage, and they pretty much are like, okay, we're gonna guard is essentially, or not guard, but Gargant is essentially just gonna instruct you what to do. Because I was asking like, okay, when should we cycle out to the little commentator thing? They're like, oh, we'll figure it out on stage. I was like, okay. All right. Yeah, so we get up there. Laz and I guess took the first match, so we introduced ourselves. All that was super smooth. Like it wasn't a bad show at all. It's just it felt like it was about to be a really bad show from backstage. So we get up and go over to the computer, and it's the same sort of setup I used for the Alliance tournament, where you have like a dev referee account, and you can target an unlimited number of things, and you sort of have a more unique perspective. That's so you can zoom in on the guns, see where the drones are, blah blah blah, because you can't see that obviously in the tournament overlay. So the teams finally land on grid after some awkward moments, and like the moment where they're like, all right, and the first match is ready, we're sending it over to them. And we're like, no, it isn't. There is nothing ready about this, and that's where that. PI remark came from, because they had all the graphics.
That was
cranked.
brilliant.
They had all the graphics cranked all the way up, and it was like a storm planet. So I was looking at it, and I was like, no, we don't see anything. And I'm like spinning it out. I'm like, but this planet does look good for PI. No, and so then when they finally do throw it back, like they just landed on grid, and I'm like rapid speed trying to target them. So I lock up the first few guys that land for Camel, and then it says, you are now targeting 3, your maximum available locked targets. I was like, okay. So I said, like, Laz, let's just speak in general terms. But yeah, so we
Is
actually.
Is that why Fozzie was staring at the actual big screen most of the time?
No, not really, because in the client you use for a tournament, it's just like how you and I would PvP. So you can't tell if somebody's being webbed or damped or tracking disrupted. You can see newts and such, but. Yeah, so it's actually easier as a commentator to look at the screen. And there is a tiny bit of lag from like the screen we're seeing to the screen you all are seeing. So even at one point I was like, and he's down. And then I hear, oh, and I was like, oh, I said he died like 1 second too early. So that was it. And then, from there it flowed pretty easily. It was really fun to commentate with Laz and talk to him. He's not a guy I'd met before. He's really cool. Bob was super awesome, and I don't think Bob had done anything like that before, whereas Laz had been an Alliance tournament commentator before. So I feel like when there was a silence, Bob didn't like jump in as quickly. He did toward the end, so I think I like stomped on him a few times in terms of taking up his airwaves. But yeah, it was awesome. It was just super, super cool. And I was very, very honored. I teared up a little bit. It was good. Had a good time.
Yeah.
Probably way more detail than you wanted, but
no, that's fantastic.
I'm not going to tell that story again later, or say frequently.
Watch the VOD.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the Worlds Collide tournament. So really, really cool result. I think a lot of people were expecting a very, very, very one-sided showing, and that's not what we received at all. So it definitely could have swung either way in many instances. I think the really only truly one-sided aspect of that tournament was the last match. I don't really understand that. Like a lot of those comps, a lot of theory crafters were wondering why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Why are there not more logic? Why are there not more command ships? And while definitely true, I think we got to see that the Serenity guys did indeed actually know what they're doing. So I'm not really sure how things would have played out, but it definitely was incredibly strong theory crafting showing with the rail stuff at the very end. So yeah, there was that, and then after that was done, we took off, and we went. Then after that, they had the bar crawl, the pub crawl.
Yeah.
So our plan for that, we had some members that went on the pub crawl, or tried to, in Hulk Cleaver's case. There was some pretty messy organization for the pub crawl, but I think overall I saw a lot of really happy faces. It seemed like more of a success than not. Although we have some horror stories in our group itself. So, but what we did, we decided to station camp the Lebowski bar.
Nerds!
We brought some You Heard swag with us. We were handing out You Heard swag in exchange for a roll at the beer
the beer wheel.
Yeah. So if I may,
go for it. This is your territory. So.
Thanks, Sard.
You're welcome.
So the entire plan for coming to FanFest was kind of what I encourage people to do is if you have something you really want to do, sign up for it. All the little ancillary events.
Yeah.
But we really wanted to do our own things.
How's it going, Garden?
And Gargant, everybody. Or wait, Gard is one.
Gargant.
Oh, okay. What's up, Gargant? I just told the story of my experience with you all yesterday. But we decided those events are kind of fun, but they're a little chaotic. It's a whole lot of people a lot of people who haven't been here before don't necessarily know what they're doing. So the logistics of it makes it a little bit sloppy, and I find those frustrating. Not that I wouldn't like to be at the dinner and meet more people, but I think there's enough time in between those events. So I encourage everybody to sign up for FanFest itself and then be very cautious of signing up for anything else. If you came alone or just as two people, it would probably be beneficial to sign up for those events. But we have a pub crawl's worth of people already with us. So our whole idea was like, okay, let's just forge our own path. We kind of know where they're going to be. If we want to meet them at a pub crawl, we can stop there. But this allows us a little more freedom, and it's, if somebody's not feeling well, they won't have paid for this ticket that they can't use, things like that. So we were pretty comfortable doing that since we had all this backup. So instead of the charity dinner, we had our own fancy dinner. It was not for charity. There was nothing charitable about what we did, but it was quite fun. And then for the pub crawl, the plan was to originally we had planned to, or I had planned, I guess, to set out our own route before the night started and then let anybody who wanted to hang out with us kind of either follow us through those bars or just meet us at one here and there. And keep it a little casual and keep us moving. But instead, we tried out Lebowski Bar the other day, and Lebowski Bar has a wheel, which is a common gimmick here, but it's not something I've seen that many times stateside. I'm sure it exists. But you spin this wheel, and it's a Lebowski Bar based on the Big Lebowski. You can win like White Russians or beers. You can either strike out and get nothing, or you can win 10 beers, or you can win 4 White Russians. Like, there's all sorts of things on there. Cost 2,000 ISK, which is like $14.5, $15. That's less than the cost of 2 beers. So pretty much if you spin the wheel and you get 2 beers, you've just saved yourself, I think the bartender told me, 200 ISK, actually.
Except for me.
Well, so we were batting 1,000. The other night when we went in, we kept winning. Like, one of the first spins was 6 beers. We kept winning 2. Like, it was a great gimmick to keep us there. We had a great time. So when we finally got there, Swiv and I had invested in a bag of gear to bring from the gear store because a lot of these guys wanted some stuff. So we had all this gear. Our kind of original concept was to sell it, but it's not really working out that way. And it wasn't a profit thing, but we were like, okay, we'll just buy it and sell it at cost. And then we're like, okay, that money's just gone. But we need to get this gear in the hands of people. So we gave out some shirts to some devs that we came across the other night. Yep. We brought one specifically for CCP Carker. Yep. We did get that to her. Gargant got his shirt.
I don't know how we had one big enough to fit him. But.
Yeah, well, that's what I was worried about, is that we were going to give him like a belly shirt. It's like, here.
His midriff is hanging out.
You can wear this to a car wash and nowhere else. Yeah. So what we decided to do is to encourage a little more social element and also offset some of our costs, since we did spend hundreds of dollars on all this stuff. Is we said if you want a piece of your gear, you have to go up to the bar and spin the wheel, which is $15, and whatever you win, you just give to us. If you win nothing, you give us nothing. If you win 6 beers, bring the 6 beers over, keep one for yourself, that sort of thing. And it worked a few times. Like, I know Gargant did it. That was awesome. Another guy.
The first guy we gave a shirt to just did it without being
yeah. We gave a guy a shirt because he came up. He's like, hey, I watch your stream all the time. My friend joins, and I knew specifically who they were. And so we were like, here, take a shirt, man. Thanks for stopping by. And then he went up to the bar and paid to spin the wheel without us even mentioning it. And he won 4 beers, and he's like, but I don't have 4 hands. And he realized, like, there was nothing he could do. So he brought us these beers, and we were like, now this. So we started off in a small booth, and like Sard and McD and TSO like wove their legs together to fit into this corner seat in something really strange. It was like a pretzel, like a really attractive, nerdy pretzel, and that was pretty cool. And then as people left, we took over gradually bigger booths, and then Hull Cleaver came in with his pub crawl horror story, which is probably not worth sharing because I think it's the exception, not the rule, and I wouldn't want to dissuade people from doing that, but. Carker came through twice accidentally because they thought it was a different bar, but it was the one they
Was that the case? Oh my gosh. Okay.
And then Rise came through, Gargant came through. So it was kind of nice. We were like right toward the entrance. Yeah. People could see us without it being super obnoxious. We did three you heard cheers while we were in there?
At least.
Yeah, so we did a 1, 2, 3 you heard. And I was very pleased with our volume control because as the night got later, we got much louder. But that first one was just perfect. It was like I wanted to like do the choral director, like set down the so it was really fun, and we all stuck together really the entire night up until we got to our neighborhood hangout bar, and then you ran into some people that you spent the remainder of your evening with. We went to Nani's, drunk sandwiches happened, and then me and TSO tried to track down the stickiest bars in Reykjavik. Unfortunately, they closed at like really arbitrarily early times. So we did make it back to our favorite breakfast joint. To explain to you why it's so funny in Iceland, this is like a Waffle House during the day, like just sort of a diner, greasy spoon style deal. And at night, it's like if you gave a bunch of monkeys cocaine and then just played really loud house remixes. Because people who are in the front, like they're all standing on tables over near the windows, and people are like sitting in windowsills with their feet on the bars. Like they swing the lamps all the time, which is it always entertains me that they swing those lamps. But and it's so loud you have no idea what you're doing. There's people outside just falling everywhere, glasses breaking everywhere. Like it's the sleaziest shit of all time. And then we were standing out talking to this guy that looked like he was going skiing, even though he was definitely not going skiing. Yeah. And he's like, this is where we smoke the marijuana, and we were like, okay. But yeah, it was fun. So we did the challenge where we tried to go from the bar, walk through to the corner, dance through to the corner, and then back. That's about probably a 6 or 7 minute round trip. That's about 20 feet. So there's like 80 people there, and you just gotta kind of like just sort of dry hump some people on the way through so that no one thinks you're there with nefarious intent. Everyone's like, this guy's cool, he's doing what we're doing, and everyone's limbs are just like flailing. And then you go back the next morning for like eggs.
And you try to not make eye contact with the bartender.
Oh no, they're fine. Yeah, the same guy that was like, Jaeger bomb the next morning is like, and how do you want your eggs? It's a strange sort of dichotomy that was really fun, but I had intended to parade him around because we couldn't get in with 8 people and do all that.
Mangala?
Oh my god!
Mangala?
Mangala was so drunk. Yeah, we happened to make it into Nora. Mangala was so drunk. I won't disparage him. He was in good spirits and composed enough, but my God,
he couldn't speak.
I
just laughed. I just kept laughing.
He pulled a McD.
5 minutes trying to have one conversation.
I saw that at least once at Vegas.
He picked up his drink and was like, he did say like one word, and then he set his glass down and started laughing so hard that he like almost ended up with his head under the table like laughing. It was, and then we were leaving, and he's like, "You all partying back at your place?" And I'm like, because it's such a long fucking walk, and just getting down the stairs at Nora was enough of an adventure for him that night. But no, he was staying right there, and I was like, he's probably not going to walk 15 minutes just to pass out on somebody else's couch. Like, pass out on your own. So it was fun to see him, though, because he had clearly been in Nora for a long time, and everybody in there seemed to be having a lot of fun. Yeah. Besides the PL dudes, fuck those guys. Just in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They were at the center table, and they looked like a bunch of dickheads.
Were they not paying their tabs again?
No. After the $300 one, I think they probably were like, "Hey, do we have to pay for this? Is this? Oh, I thought this was included in the FanFest ticket pricing. I don't know what's going on. No, but it was fun. It was fun. I had completely forgotten about that, which says a little something. About
There's
how
a lot
mindful it was.
of weird drama this FanFest.
For other people.
Yes.
Although I'm really tired of dealing with Swiv, if we're all speaking candidly.
You're all thinking it.
This motherfucker doesn't take a decent picture. It sucks.
Yeah. Try to get all these selfies and.
So hey, that was last night. So it's been a very slow recovery for all of us since then. So for today, I mean, this is we'd planned to do these in the morning. That was not happening. AM was around 2 p.m. So the way that worked out, I actually managed to get myself bio got up. Dantessi was up pretty early too, so we actually managed to get in pretty early. I wanted to make it in early to actually make a couple of the roundtables, primarily for UI stuff. I was there for a lot of the UI stuff, CSP Arrow, Shark, Karker, Puncturus. Saw a lot of that stuff. A lot of interesting things coming in for UI. Nothing ground shaking. A lot of the more ground shaking kind of things being discussed are completely just spitballs from Shark primarily. So the biggest thing there is that the old map is probably fairly close to being phased out. Beta map pretty close to being phased in are some of the bigger topics. So I mean that's pretty much been expected for some time now. Aside from that, we had a couple other roundtables that other individuals were privy to. Huge one that everyone's super excited about are structures, like huge structures. As I understand, though, nothing's really solidified. Essentially, what you're hearing is pretty much a decade's worth of ideas that both CCP and players have been tossing around about what would be really cool about structures, and CCP's finally saying yes, we're gonna do it. So eventually. So. And I totally agree that it's what, like, pretty much what, just as Seagull stated, like, what you're gonna see is probably sooner rather than later. Some of the stuff is hashed out, some of it's not. So it's a wild west.
Yeah, the senior developer said that we would see those changes in 2015.
Some of them, yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna see these changes being implemented sooner rather than later, and like a lot of these, like the first half of 2015. So pretty exciting stuff. I think there's such huge potential with these structure changes that are proposed. I'm sure that the EVE universe is like a buzz talking about like what can happen, how to do it, and I mean fitting. The fitting for structures and the different sizes, different scales and scopes. It's gonna be something else. I mean, you got people excited about passes. When do you hear that? So it's
when they're not talking about getting them fixed.
Yeah, well, it's something else. It's something else entirely. So after that, we took off, got our breakfast around 3. For some of us, we had a 3 o'clock breakfast, and kind of stayed in. We watched Hilmar and the closing ceremony.
Yeah, that's what Hulklever said about me this morning, was that I should claim that I almost participated.
Yes,
because I got down here just in time to see like the very ending of
yes.
the closing address on the television in our apartment, a mile from the actual thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of we're at a point where if it's not an interactive experience and it's that sort of closing remark that will have some fluffery, no disrespect to CCP, but we were like, we'll be here because we've just eaten breakfast and
yeah. So I mean, speaking of some of the guys in chat talking about Valkyrie and stuff, we did have a couple of our guys. I think Hulklever's the one I know that tried out some of the VR stuff that they were demoing. I tried out Valkyrie at Vegas and it was amazing then. And I'm sure it's even more refined. I understand that there's some mechanics changes. It plays a fair bit differently, a lot more fun. So that's cool. But we have planned for tonight, going into tomorrow. A fair number of us are going to be taking off tomorrow. I'm taking off tomorrow. Tonight we have the party top of the world. Probably going to be some more bar hopping, heading around Iceland. Probably going to be going to a fair number of different bars tonight, something like that. Not really set in stone.
Yeah. So. Sort of our plan is to do a drive-by on the Party at the Top of the World, but again, as much as I'm into Iceland's premier Metallica cover band, I don't think we're going to hang out too long. So we do want to go and experience it for our money and say hi to everybody. And we are going to be giving away the rest of our gear. So for anybody watching who's in Iceland, or if you know anybody who's here and you want a piece of U-Hurt gear, make sure they come see us. I'll tweet once we're in that general direction, and hopefully the other guys with Twitters will as well. We're basically just going to be there as like a, or no, more like, I don't know any Metallica lyrics. I'm trying. Grant me in your pillow tight. I think that's one. Yeah. So after about 3 Metallica songs, I'm probably going to go ahead and go. And then the plan is to, I think, experience the bars that we haven't been to. So spend a good amount of time actually traveling and do like a show up at one place, have a drink that place, move down the road, have a drink that place, and then probably wrap up our night sitting in a more stationary position. And
we've said that several times.
So we're going to try and avoid bars with a wheel where you can win a variety of numbers of drinks, because that shit has not ended well, not one time for us. So
yeah. So yeah, but we'll be sending out tweets. We typically whenever we land at one bar or another, we'll jump on their Wi-Fi and say, "Hey, we're over here. Come hang out if you're in the area."
Furthermore, if you're out and about and you're at a place, especially a bar that we haven't been to, just shoot us a message. Eve Sirskweebles, Sardcade, Eve Dantesi, Eve Biohazard, Eve Hall Cleaver. Well, actually, Granite Buyer.
Please choose the hashtag.
Eve Swavant handles. You're just McD, right? Yeah. MMCD?
Yep.
Yeah. So literally everybody in this room has a Twitter. Feel free to tag as many of us as possible. Some of us might be too drunk to pay attention. So yeah, hit us up and we'll come meet you, and then you can tell us what's good from that particular bar.
Gear.
Sorry?
Bochi got his gear.
Oh yes, links on call, baby. So yeah, the gear is really cool. Everybody that has received a piece of the gear, hopefully you enjoy it. But we do have more to give out. We have what do you think? So we probably have like $300 more worth of stuff to give out.
Did I bring it back last time?
Yes.
I brought it back.
He brought it back.
Over there.
Okay, I thought I saw it in the
I
corner.
was the one that had to recover it.
It's important to recognize that Nani's is also a litmus test for how drunk people are.
Yes.
Because as soon as somebody has the 1,000-yard stare and is eating their sandwich, you're like, okay, we can no longer trust him to perform basic job functions. And the guy who's like having a conversation and eating his sandwich is fine. But the guy who, as soon as he gets this sub, he's like, I'm overwhelmed! That is part of the reason. Not only do I love haddock and corn on my sandwich, but it's good time. So yeah, we'll be out and about. My plan, and again, I realize this will never work. My plan is to try and be out for a very long time tonight, but to do more moving and talking than drinking. At least until
As opposed to the last time. You're such a Flash fan.
yeah. Well, yeah. Last night was just one of those flings. So I don't plan to cash in at 11 p.m. on one of our last nights in Reykjavik, especially since a lot of you guys are leaving. So hopefully we'll be out. And then again, nobody's flying out until the afternoon tomorrow. So if you can't meet us and you want to hang out with us or whatever, we'll have breakfast. And I might even see, for those of us that are staying later, if you're here on Monday or whatever, we'll invite you out for breakfast.
Yeah.
This laptop is getting alarmingly hot. Things are sweating that should not sweat in this company.
All right. Well, I think that about covers everything I wanted to cover for this episode of Cold Pizza with the U-Hurt crew in Iceland for Fanfest 2015. So we may do another showing tomorrow. I can only imagine that we will. Kind of a closeout for our Fanfest experience. We have to. So until then, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time. So from the U-Hurt crew, this is becoming kind of a thing. Let's have everyone wave and we'll sign out.
Bye.
See you.
Have a very nice time.
Yeah, see you guys. Bye.
And good night.